Today I will be reading In the Doghouse. Please, Emma, stop! I know if you've heard anything about In the Doghouse, then you know this is so freaky. I was not prepared walking into this at all. So I started this manhwa with my best friend, and the only thing I knew about it was the wedding scene. If you know, you know. But it wasn't the freakiest, and I'd also seen comments being like, the first chapter is so insane, like they started off like that. And I don't know, I see a lot of comments and then I go in and I'm like, this will be okay, and then I get surprised when it's not okay. So we started off with Courtney, and you and I can probably both agree that Courtney is such a it doesn't fit her at all. Like, she should be like a Rebecca or a Jessica. Courtney, I'm thinking Courtney, I'm thinking dumb blonde. No offense to all the Courtneys outside. You guys are so cool. But, I don't know. I didn't think it fit. But anyways, we love Courtney. Or Courtland. I'll check that later. Anyways, Courtland is in a really crappy family. Her dad keeps falling for these awful scams. Her brother is a gambling addict. Her sister-in-law is a crybaby who doesn't do anything. Her mom doesn't do anything. There's only one piece of her family member who is her nephew. He's so sweet. He's basically like the golden puppy dog boy. Like, he glows. In the second chapter, after all the freakiness goes down, because the first chapter is kind of like a little sneak peek of what you're getting into, and it's actually so crazy. I was jaw dropped. But anyways, the second chapter, they go to this little tea party, invited by like a viscountess. It's kind of like Bridgerton. In the back with all the poor people who are like not cool and who are also in crippling debt, and her mom is super freaking mad about it. And then the viscountess girl or whatever, she pulls out this feather that can write with magic, and her mom wants it. She wants it bad. The daughter of Courtland is like, girl, we don't have that kind of money. So she drives her mom home and then tells them that she's going to take over the financial system, and she makes sure that they don't have a lot of food to eat at dinner so they can save up. And that night, her brother comes home. By the way, we hate her brother. He makes me so angry. Like, out of every single character in this book, he makes me want to punch something the most. He comes home with all these loan sharks, and they're kicking him and punching him, and she intervenes. She's like, we'll give you the money. And then they're like, you're gonna give us the 100K you owe us. And she's like, the what now? See, what did you do now? So basically, she intervenes and she's like, we'll give you the money, come back tomorrow. And one of them punches her. And she's like, oh, you punch me? You punch me, I'm gonna go tell somebody that you punched a lady. So they back away and they're like, we'll be back tomorrow. Just wait and see. The next day, she goes to the estate of one of the viscountess or whatever he borrowed from. He borrowed money from somebody and gambled it all away, and now he has so much crippling debt that he owes that person. So she goes to their estate, and the butler hears her last name, her family name, and he's like, no, you can go now. So she leaves, and we see that when she got slapped across the face by those loan sharks, she fell over and twisted her ankle, and it looks bad. It looks nasty. But as you know, in manhwa, bad things don't last forever. Well, strong in the pain. Anyways, so basically, she goes home and she finds out that the prince wants to marry her. Oh wait, no. The prince's father wants them to marry, and she's like, there's no flipping way. The moment we get into deep financial situations, the prince wants to marry me. What kind of scam did my father get into this time? And honestly, the timing is kind of crazy. I wouldn't believe it either. She's so valid for that. So she gets into this carriage and she's thinking oh, they're gonna take me to the palace. There's gotta be some kind of catch to this, because of course there is. But she gets there and she sees the king. And her father does not know any respect. But anyway, she gets and she talks to the king, and he's like, you're gonna marry my son, period. It's not really a question. And she's like, what? So then she goes into a different room to see his son. And his son is gorgeous. He's like flowing and stuff. Let me just talk about how he looks. Some panels he looks dazzling, and some panels he makes me want to choke, cry, scream, and run in the other direction. But god damn it, he's so flipping creepy. Oh my god. He seems super sweet, and he gets down on one knee immediately and he proposes to her, and she's like, well, let me think about it. And so she does. She goes back home and he starts sending her all these gifts, all these expensive items like a chandelier, and he makes her family rich. He takes away her debt. He breaks some guy's legs for her, who I do not remember. I'm so sorry. And she's like, what the heck? He actually wants to marry me? I still don't believe it. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, he gets one of his like magic people to magically heal her ankle. Like, then she decides to call upon the prince again, and she's like, why the hell are you marrying me? I am angry, I am upset, I'm not like the other girlies, okay? I'm different. And he's like, I'm just so enwrapped by your beauty. Like, sir, we know damn well. Because there's a twist to this evil, creepy man. I'm sorry. I know we're supposed to like this guy, but he's just like, he creeps me the hell out. Reading this is so uncomfortable. Oh my god. Well, back to the story. He leans in for a little smooch after they talk, and they almost smooch, and then somebody interrupts them, and then they leave, and they do go back to smooching. And he makes this face. That's just one of those panels. One out of many, actually. And then she realizes that he is not who he seems to be. He asked her, like, slap me, say bad things about me. And she's like, is this a test? So she does it. She slaps him. She says bad things about him. And he is so into it. It is so scary. And she's like, gotta go, actually. Which is so valid. He sends her a freaky little book with like detailed drawings and things I cannot show. And it comes with a spanking paddle thingy. Anyways, as we learn later on, she matches his freak completely. She could not stop reading this book. She's like, I skimmed this like an encyclopedia and I still can't understand it. Like, girl, just admit you want him bad. We could see it in your eyes. Then the next day, she goes to another little tea party, like the one in the second chapter. And all the girlies are suddenly being nice to her because she's engaged to the prince and she's supposed to marry him. And she's like, whoa, where did all this niceness comes from? But good things don't last, so you know the haters gotta pull up. And they are talking like, you probably just spread your legs for that man. And as they do in manhwas, you know who pulls up? The prince. Because he just knows her location. He knows where she's going to be at every single moment of the day. How did he know that? Can we think about that some more, actually? Can we think about that? But actually, he pulls up looking all fancy and stuff. And he, like, leans down and takes her hand and kisses it. And everybody's like, oh, he's so fine. He's so fine. And he's like, do you want me to kill these girls? I'll massacre them right here. And she's like, what? What are you talking about? And she says, no, heck no. So they leave. Then she goes home and there's another scene of her brother being an absolute loser. Like, just say you're not an ally. Just say you're a big fat hater. Like, this guy makes me so mad. You guys don't understand. And that night, she gets a call from the prince, and he's waiting in a carriage for her, dressed up like a freaking Dementor, while she's dressed as Alice in Madness. Like, okay, pro queen. Anyways, they get their freak on again, to say the least. He drags her into the red light district, and they go to a shop that you'd only find in the red light district, and they go buying stuff, and then they go to a dungeon and they get their freak on, and then they leave. And that's all I'm gonna say, because honestly, you don't need to know. But anyways, they get to the wedding, And she realizes that this ceremony is going to be long as hell. There's so much to do, so many people, and the next day when she wakes up in the palace, people just jump on her. They jump on her, they scrub her skin, they brush her hair, they comb it, they do her fingernails. She's getting the whole makeover. The first ceremony, she's like covered as a ghost. She calls herself like a marshmallow or a snowman, I forget. It's like taking forever, and she's sweaty and hot under all those clothes. And then it finally ends, and he says, take off your veil. And she's like, what? I look like crap underneath here. I've been sweating for the past 30 minutes, an hour. It is so hot. I literally am drenched. And the prince is like, I don't care, baby girl. Like, you're too fine. Like, I accept you for who you are. So she takes off the veil. He makes the priest guy not look at her. And he's like, you still look bad, as always. Then later on, after some brunch that they go to together and some praying in front of a portrait, she's in her room. She is in her ball gown, wedding dress. It is so gorgeous. She looks amazing. And here comes the infamous scene that I'd seen way too many times before reading this, to the point where I was just like, okay, I gotta read it now, because this scene, I've been seeing it everywhere. Anyways, so Prince comes in. He's like, oh girl, you looking fine. So he comes in and they start smooching, and then they hear knocking on the door, and she's like, oh my god, we'd have to move the wedding back multiple weeks if they saw you with me, because that's just like not acceptable. And he's like, fine, I'll jump out the door, and the door is, not the door, the window is locked. And she's like, what the flip, what do we do now? And so he's like, I got an idea. So he goes and hides under her dress. Where do you think of this? Oh my god, I just want to know the inspiration, because this was like, I was just gasping. Like, this was actually so smart. I was like, wait, this is kind of it, you know? I don't know, that's probably just me, but I was just like, oh, this is kind of it. Anyways, he hides under there and does more than one thing under there while her family is in the room. They'll leave, and she's like, get out from under my dress, you freaky pervert. Anyways, they go to the wedding, and it's so beautiful. Everybody's staring at her like, oh my god, girl, I want to be you. Because who doesn't want to be her? First of all. And second of all, it turns out that the wedding also takes a million freaking years. The priest talks forever. But anyways, she is really tired, and the prince notices, and he's just like, wrap it up, priest. And she is shocked. Honestly, I am too. Like, why didn't you wrap it up a long time ago? Hello? Like, should we throw hands? Honestly, like, he makes me, I am going to beat him up. It just has to happen. So they finally get married. They have this lovey-dovey moment, and they get in the carriage, and he's like, so, are you still feeling the effects from what I did earlier? And she's like, why would you say that to me? Why would you say that? I'm going to beat you up. But I mean, she is still feeling the effects from earlier. And he's like, oh, I'm just preparing for tonight, you know? And she's like, I'm gonna beat your ass. But then they get out of the carriage, and she sees all the people that are there for her, that love her, her new citizens or whatever. And she and the prince kiss. So romantic, and it should have ended there, but it doesn't. It doesn't end there. So basically, you know what happens after marriage back in the 1800s or whatever this is set in. They do the nasty. They have a child. I don't know how that's gonna work with this couple, actually, because they're not doing it like you're supposed to do it from the 19,000s or whatever. But anyways, if you like this, then like and subscribe. Feel free to comment your ideas if you think I suck or whatever. Just comment it down below. Be cute. Okay, guys? Okay, stay cute. I was thinking of doing Heaven's Official Blessing next, because I'm finishing that up right now. And it jumps, like, there are a lot of people I know who want to read it, but they don't want to read 400-page books. Like, I got you. I've been reading this since, like, 2022. I got you, girls. So, comment down below if you want to see that.